So we're back now. So we're going to talk about the next article, which we're still going to stick with the whole TV show theme because they have just announced also that Final Fantasy VII Remake is getting an animated series for Netflix. Now, this is going to be directed by Tetsuya Nomura himself, who has had a hand in the Final Fantasy franchise for a long time now. So he knows what he's doing. This will focus on a prequel to the remake itself, and then a second part which takes place during the events of the remake game. Danny, I know you're the Final Fantasy fan. You want to talk about this at all?
I'm excited. I mean, I gushed in my pants really bad when I read that. So I was super excited. I mean, they're gonna do a great job. I mean, he's a good director to use that and to bring some storyline into the game what they're trying to do. I think it's adding on to the world that they're trying to build right now in this remake world.
Yeah.
And they haven't even that bad Final Fantasy Spirit Away bullshit.
Ooh.
Yeah, horrible storyline, but look
Why are we
great.
talking about that?
Yeah, I
Eesh.
know. I was can't even talk about that. What makes it look bad, but still, it still looked great. You know what I mean? Like, so it had the potential to be great. But either
Yeah.
way, like all the Final Fantasy having children was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So it's even like a tenth
Love
of
having
that.
children.
Yeah, like, if it was a tenth of having children, it'd be fine. You
Yeah.
know, and again, they're building this great world. The game looks like a movie already. You know, most of it is you just playing as cutscenes to see what's going on. So it should be interesting. I can see them doing a lot of Zack stuff. You know, doing a
I feel like
lot
some
of
flashbacks and stuff.
yeah, like of how he got that, like doing that whole scene of Cloud, maybe when he was younger,
Yeah.
and doing all that in the form with Sephiroth instead of maybe them cutting that out of the game and instead they're doing it in the show. I mean, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Kevin, what do you think? Is he even alive?
Yeah, I'm good. um, I mean, I just the only question I wanted to ask was mainly: is it going to fill in? Does the remake fill up, like, answer most of the questions or all of the questions?
The remake pretty much touches on like a half of the first CD of the original game. It's mostly just their adventures, beat by beat, the same thing as the original game from where they
It's like
all
the first 6
meet.
hours.
Yeah, it's from when they all meet to the point where they escape from the city.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy OG was about that aspect probably 2-3 hours long, at most, and then they turned this into like a 14-15 hour game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this animated series, I don't think it's gonna fill in gaps of anything, but I think it's just gonna expand more about what everybody knows
Yeah, no. So I
about.
would, like, sorry for cutting you off,
Go
but
ahead.
I would rather that it. Well, I would hope that it just fills in the gap because, believe it or not, I'm not a big. Not saying I'm not a big. I'm just not very knowledgeable on Final Fantasy VII. So me watching it is going to be after I play the game because I have to play the game before I watch that.
Yeah,
I just hope it fills in gaps that, like, if I played it and I was like, oh, I didn't understand it, that it like informs me or like it informs me, but it doesn't beat me over the head with the information. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is this, and then that is that, and then this is a Buster Sword, and then this is a Soldier. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want all the information I already know. I just want, like, the information that I don't know, like what is
It's
Cloud
it's mostly
or
it's
like
mostly character development. Like I would assume that the animated series would
yeah,
be the same thing as the video games themselves.
mm-hmm.
It's the gameplay is great and so lovable. That's why they've been loved for so long. So I think you'd enjoy that because they go really deep into that stuff.
Okay, so then I'll probably enjoy it. It'll be my first time watching anything Final Fantasy, except for Advent Children, because Advent Children is like a staple.
That's hard to watch without playing the game.
yeah. That
No,
is having children is really hard to know
so
fully what's going on without playing
so
the beating the
so
game.
so the way I got through it is I've never personally played it, but I've had siblings that have. So it's like if I didn't understand something, I would, like, they would tell me, and then I'll do my research or whatever. But it was like it didn't feel as satisfying as, like, being in the
Oh
loop. Like,
yeah.
now I could watch Avid Children and be like, oh, that's Sephiroth. Oh, that's Cloud. That like I can do
Yeah.
that now. But
But
like
that was the beauty of the remake game. Is like it's not just that cloud. Is that's seven heavens. That's this. That's that tower. That's that mission. That's that.
hmm
Oh, that's that line. The same exact line.
hmm
Yeah. Then the other one just done up, and you can actually fully imagine it, and it
hmm
is what you imagine. Because
hmm
some games, that's the hard part about having something that you imagine in a game being transferred to somebody else's IP is they're taking what you thought in your head and they're making their version of it, and they're never gonna usually get that right. And Final Fantasy Remake, I feel like it did.
I feel like it's what is the concept? Capturing lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somehow they did it twice
Oh,
with
yeah.
the same game, and it's
Yeah.
and that's why I was
Yeah.
like that's why I was like even now like not playing Final Fantasy VII, it made me excited for the remake, like because I was like, damn, if they did this and they did it like something years later, you know what I mean? It's like what more like what else are they gonna do? You know what I mean? Like what more that they could do? But with the show, I'm gonna watch it. They already got me
Hell
hooked
yeah.
with the remake. They got me hooked with the OG game, the remake. I'm gonna watch it.
Randy, I haven't heard anything from you about it.
Okay, so Nomura being involved, super excited. Obviously, fucking
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts. I'll take like a long ass swig for this one.
Delicioso.
Qué rico. No, but so reading more on this, it's gonna like really like fill in the gaps for remake one, and then continue as like Intergrade comes out and shit, even like part two. So it's it just seems so exciting because you're really gonna like understand everything because it seems like what they couldn't put into the game, they're gonna put into the show.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
You know,
I think
and
it'd be
also, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
I think it's a fun way of creating a universe.
Yeah.
The Disney, Marvel, whatever, they all the universes. This is their way of doing it, having all these different iterations of entertainment involved in it, and I think that's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Randy, you done with your thought?
Um, um, so aside from that, this got me really excited. I know it's like a little off topic, but also kind of on topic. Kingdom Hearts is also getting a fucking a show for
Okay.
themselves.
I'll stop you there. Hold on one moment with that.
Hold on,
Because
didn't
I
you
was
say you
actually
wouldn't-
huh?
Keep going. What are you saying?
Well, that was something I was going to mention too. So there's the one thing about the article that surprised me is that Square apparently also is working on two more animated shows, which is Kingdom Hearts and Final
With Disney
Fantasy
Plus?
4 and Final Fantasy 14. I didn't hear anything about this, so I figured if you knew about this or not. So apparently you do. So I wanted you to talk about that.
I didn't know about the Final Fantasy
Okay,
14.
I don't think it's gonna help anything with the story, to be very honest.
It's
Like,
convoluted.
no, 100%, it's gonna be batshit fucking crazy. Because even Melody of Memory, like the fucking recent rhythm game, it filled in jack shit and left more questions. Right? It's apparently gonna tie, it says right here, it's supposed to tie in Union Cross, Birth by Sleep, and Kingdom Hearts 3. So with that, Union Cross is way before Birth by Sleep because Union Cross, the mobile game, has a young Ventus who is in Birth by Sleep, but there's like a decent time gap between them because Ventus was put into like kind of stasis, but the characters, the main houses, if you will, from Union Cross end up at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 where this show isn't going to do shit for us, but it's going to be really fun to watch.
I can't understand the games. Like how
No,
how is this
and the
going to
funny
help
thing
me?
is that like I know what it's including. I just don't know how they're gonna do it, and I don't care how they're gonna fucking do it. I just want to fucking see a whole CG animated series about this shit.
I have a
Especially
question.
with consider hold on, wait. Especially considering the fact that they're getting a lot of like the original fucking voice actors back.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. Anyways, Kevin, go on.
You had a
Okay,
question.
cool. I have a concern. So due to my calculations, I just realized Square Enix, this is going to be their third anime that I know of. So the first one, I don't know if you guys knew, The World Ends With You has an anime.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I want to
bad.
watch that so bad.
So I've been watching.
Wait,
like,
do we all
seeing
need
the-
new underwear here?
a bit, just a teeny bit. Just a teeny
Well,
I
I'm
know,
good
I did.
now,
Oh,
but
shit.
I know I pissed my pants when I first saw the trailer for The World Ends With You.
Oh,
I didn't
piss your
want to
pants
piss
or
my
cream your
pants.
pants? Come on.
But yeah, so not only did they create a remake, but they're going in depth now even more so on like all the characters, granted for like the anime, they're doing this integrate thing, and they're trying to figure out how to like make Vincent like not just some random optional character or
Got rid of
something, but they're putting him
got rid
into
of
the
Casey.
story and stuff. So like, yeah, it's really nice that they've really embraced like the best series, regardless if you hate Final Fantasy VII or not, because some people think it's overrated, which we'll talk about in the community question. But some people think it's overrated, but regardless, it's still a popular franchise. It's still a popular part of the series, and people want more of it. It's like never ending for some reason.
I feel like if you play any RPG, you're going to hear Final Fantasy VII. Like even if you recently started, you know the name Final Fantasy. It's like one of those what is it? Those ghost stories. You're like, ooh, Final Fantasy VII. He's like, what? What's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Man car hook hand doorman or some shit
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, like the hang slinging slasher. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those
Ash
things.
slinging slasher.
Slasher, hang slinging. But it's one of those things that it's like it's embedded in like the culture of not even the culture, just in the genre of RPG. Like it's like a staple. It's like if it's a tier list, it would be must play at any age, and it's like everything else is just like decent. But I'm excited for the Final Fantasy 14 one because 14 was not saying like I don't like 7. 14 was my favorite because that was the first Final Fantasy I ever beat by myself without like having to play through or
14,
watching somebody do it.
14 is
No,
the
14
online
14
one.
MMO. Which one
14's
did you mean?
online.
You mean
Oh,
15?
Yeah.
15.
You're talking about
15.
15.
Sorry.
Okay.
15.
Yeah, okay.
I thought 15. Oh, I thought it was 15. Then never mind. But
Yeah. And they made a movie. They did the same thing with 15, where they made a movie
Yeah.
that
Was
Kingsley.
it
made
Kingsley?
Kingsley.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
and you
Kingsley,
kind of had
Minnesota.
to,
Yeah.
that was the part of the problem people have with 15 is that some of the storyline that was involved in it, you kind of had to watch that in order to fully understand.
yeah.
Wasn't
And that,
Kingsglaive like a prequel though?
yeah,
It was. It was a
It was
prequel.
just
It was his
it was just
dad's
to explain
track.
them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was ass. And then they made another one, but I'm excited to see for the MMO. Like I want to get back into playing that. We'll see, but 7 definitely, and that Kingdom Hearts, it's a must. I'm definitely gonna keep my eye out for that.
You know
So,
what's strange about Final Fantasy 15 is that it was a great game, but and I'm trying to reflect to any other characters in any other Final Fantasy game, and no character has gone in depth as much as like the characters in like 7, maybe 8. But like
Yeah.
7, like they just go deep into a lot of like just not just Cloud, but Tifa's childhood and background, Vincent and his experiments and things like that, and like him like if you could remember, like with Vincent, he was a subject to a lot of experiments by Hojo, and then if you have Vincent in the party when you're fighting Hojo in that boss battle, like you get a whole nother like character development thing because he's like happy that he finally killed this guy. I mean, who else? Like you even get a freaking character development for Kate Sith, which is a fucking stuffed animal robot thingy, but he's like remotely controlled by somebody else, and like I don't know. It's just it's a very different thing.
And
Yeah,
you gotta realize that it's not unlike your Kingdom Hearts. All this is not done. All this is
Convoluted?
done in the base game.
Oh yeah,
not-
no, dude, fucking of course. No, 7 is a masterpiece because they actually did everything correctly.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, it's just one big fever dream.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But what
it's a very fun, like well done fever dream up until 3, but it's still a fever dream nonetheless.
I feel like Kingdom Hearts, not trying to bash it, it's like a roller coaster. There's good
Bro,
parts.
shit on it all you want.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like in a bad way because 1 and 2 was like two of like the 2 games that I've enjoyed the most. I've never played.
It was the best.
2
Yeah.
2 is the best, and then some people would say 1 is the best. But personally, I played 2 first, and then I played 1. But
Played
that
1
game
and
is like a
2, right.
roller coaster till 3, and then 3 you just drop, and you're like, what is happening? And then like
No,
For me, the
3
problem-
is the
the
end of the
problem-
roller coaster.
The,
Yeah, no,
the problem with 3 is that you can eliminate 3 and the storyline will stay exactly the same.
Pretty much, it was just closure for everything. They could have added all the
There was no
story.
Hold
closure.
on,
They
no,
left
no,
everything
no,
open.
dude, there is no closure at all. That's why
There's no
Melody and
closure.
Memories is out.
Well, no,
That's
the
why it's bad.
the story still continues, but the whole thing with
No,
Xehanort and all that,
yeah,
there was
it's
closure for
no.
all that.
No, it
no,
wasn't.
no.
How do you
Wait,
not
wait,
know?
wait,
There
wait,
was
wait,
closure
hold,
for
no, 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 no,
Xehanort.
no, 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 no. Yes, there was definitely
The
closure for
storyline with
Xehanort.
that,
This is
yeah.
the thing. Okay,
Okay, fine.
so
Yeah.
The
what?
big bad, yeah.
In a condensed version, yes, Xehanort is
Yes.
the big bad, but
He's not.
he's the
He's
medium
not.
bad. No,
Yes, I
because
know. I get that.
Zigbar is like the big bad,
I get that, but they
the
don't
master
mention
of
any of that.
masters.
But that's aside from
The
that
master
because
of
No, yeah,
the
yeah,
masters.
no,
the
of
main
course.
focus for the entire series has always been Xehanort and I forget the others X's names or whatever.
Zemnis,
Zemnis and all of
Ansem.
them, like
Come
they
on,
focus
come on,
on
keep up.
those three biggest guys, and finally that storyline has closed. I understand that it still continues. There's still a lot more to the story, but at least that book is finally closed.